Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we educate, empower, and entertain. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, download, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records.
Shopping assistance, your style, your budget. Our services include online and local shopping for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, and helping you find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195 or shoppingassistance2015@gmail.com. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget.
Welcome back to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us here Erica Davis, and I'm happy to have her here. She's going to share on her story, Triumph Over Adversities. Erica is an athlete and she is a mom, and Erica is doing so much behind the scenes, and we're going to get into it and get to know a little bit about her. Hi, Erica.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being on the show. So I want you to define what adversity means to you and how it can manifest in different areas of life.
Okay, adversities. That's like such a broad question because there's many things that could be considered as adversity. But to me personally, it would have to be getting dealt certain hands in life, and you see the tools that you need to succeed and overcome them, but they're not accessible. And when I say that, it's like my adversity was my health. I got dealt the cards at a young age of, I think 12, I was diagnosed as a diabetic. It wasn't because of how I was eating, because my mother raised us in a home where we ate the basics. We ate our vegetables. We had our simple, like our little bit of carbs, and we had our meats, our proteins. Everything was balanced because she knew what the family history was. But it manifested in me at a young age just from hereditary. And as I went through life with it, I went through my ups and downs of battling with medications, not wanting to take medications, I went through the rebellious stage. And then when I became a young adult, I ended up losing insurance. That was the biggest adversity I faced, was not having insurance and having an illness that required insurance in order to take care of myself. So when that happened, my health went on a decline. In my 20s, I spent most of my 20s being sick because I'm battling diabetes, not having the proper care to take care of it. And then in my 30s, I ended up making choices and adjustments to like turn it around. I had to become very witty and think of ways to fix it. A lot of it stemmed from me watching other people in the same boat going through the things I was going through. And I was like, the system's unjust. This is unjust. And I was like, what can we do as a person ourselves to change it? And the only thing you have control over is what you put in your body and how you treat your body. So I had to stop relying on medicine and relying on me.
Yes, love that. What was the most challenging part of dealing with that adversity, and how did you navigate it?
The most challenging part of dealing with that one is the fact that you can't blame anybody but yourself.
Wow.
You are in control of your choices, and to say everything in life is a choice. You can choose to eat junk food or you can choose to eat healthy. Granted, you might be miserable chewing on broccoli, but hey, your body will thank you for it later. And it was one of those things where I had to look in the mirror and I was like, Erica, you let yourself get to this weight. You let your diabetes get out of control. Now you've got to get it back in control. You've got to break these habits. You've got to tear down these walls that you've built in this fortress of not caring. It was all a reflection of me. I had to take accountability for it. And that was the hardest thing. No one wants to hold themselves accountable. It's not fun. It stinks to have to take accountability for something, especially when you did it and you know you did it. And it's like, you're just sitting here and you can tell the world, oh, they did this, they did that to me, and blah, blah, blah. No. And you look in the mirror at the end of the day and you're like, girl, you know you did this. You know you could have did this and took the medications and went the hard route and had a better outcome. You chose easy, and this is what easy has gotten you. That was the hardest part for me, is sucking it up and being like, I did this to myself. Yeah. Now I've got to fix this myself.
Yes. Yes. I love that. How is it that adversity changed your perspective on life itself?
After, say, before I went through everything I went through, I didn't care. And then when I went through the battles with my health, losing my legs and getting the diagnosis of having CKD and heart failure and stuff, it was all because of the things that I did. So it changed my outlook on life, because I have the negative spirit, and I have 3 kids. Like you said, I'm a mom, and I have that negative spirit. With the negative spirit, you're going to give up. You're not going to fight. If I'm not here, who's going to be here for my babies?
That's right.
So I had to change my thinking. I had to be like, you can do this. Just because it says it's this bad doesn't mean it has to end this bad. The only place I can go is up from here. So I started changing my lifestyle, changing my eating habits. I started going back to the gym. I mean, right after they amputated me, I went right back into the gym in a wheelchair, went back to work on working on. I was like, I might have lost a leg, I might have lost the other leg, but I still have a heart, I still have kidneys, I still have a liver, I still have all these other organs that need to be healthy in order for them to function properly. So I started living for the things that were still there. I started fighting for what was fighting for me. So that meant fighting for my health, the parts of my body that I could salvage, and fighting for my kids. Sustaining myself so I could be here. I have a disabled child. My middle child's in a wheelchair. No one knows his condition like I do. And me going through my adversities and my difficulties with my disabilities has taught him to be independent and be strong and push through his disabilities.
So the mindset has to change. Your mindset has to change.
Yes, definitely.
What roles does resilience play in triumphing over adversity, and how can someone build resilience?
Resilience is everything, because I swear, and some people confuse resilience and stubborn, which in my eyes, they walk a very, very tight line. People tell me, you're just stubborn, you're a stubborn old mule. And then they'll be like, you're so resilient. Well, you have to be stubborn to be resilient, because if there are going to be things that stack up against you, and you're going to look at them, you're going to be like, I can't do it. But if you're stubborn, or you have the determination to push through and keep going through it, you're going to go through the situation. Whether you come out on the other side, on the upside, or the bottom, or it's in the same position, going through it is what makes you a better person. So it's a gain either way it goes. And in order to gain resilience, you have to have the spirit of I can. You can't have the mindset of I can't. I can't won't get you anywhere. So when you start anything that you're going through, you start with the I can attitude. That's the foundation for your resilience. And how you handle it, you're going to take turns lefts, rights, backwards, and forwards. Whichever path works, you stick with that path. If you hit a pothole, navigate the other way. Keep going. Walk the path. It's not going to be easy.
Basically, stop finding excuses.
Exactly.
Can you discuss the importance of maintaining hope and optimism in these difficult times?
Having optimism in these hard times. There have been a couple times, I'm not gonna even lie to you, where I'm just like, you know what, forget it. I'm done. I've had enough. That's just like now, even with me going through competition, like I'm a double amputee, and I'm in a world full of people who don't look like me at all. They're not at all. Like, the odds are already stacked up against me because I'm working with half the equipment that they have. And in my mind, I'm very optimistic about it, because I'm like, I fought hard to get here. I can do this. It's just one of those things. I've always been an optimistic person too. Pessimism, it floats in there every now and then, but that's human nature. You are your own worst critic. So when you start criticizing yourself and you look at yourself for so long, you're going to find flaws.
Yes. And then you're going to start comparing.
Yes. And that's like the biggest thing I see all the time. And that's what I have to like remind myself, be like, hey, I'm not them. I don't have their battle. I don't know what their battle is. I don't know what they did to get where they are, but I know what I'm doing to get to where I need to be.
That's right.
And I have to learn. My coaches always tell me to give myself grace, and I've really adapted that lifestyle. And that's another thing that really helps me keep the optimistic mind frame right now, especially, is giving myself grace. When I look at where I want to be and I see all the things that I didn't do right and I need to do right, I also remind myself, look at how far you've come. You went from 311 pounds, you're down to 171. That's a huge accomplishment. Give yourself grace. It's like the little things that seem small to you, you have to give yourself grace for. And that also boosts your optimism. It keeps you up. You have to reflect on the good things that you've done. And sometimes you have to reflect on some of the mistakes you've made because you've learned. And learning is always a good thing. Yes. You don't know everything. You have to make mistakes to learn and grow.
True. What advice would you give to someone who feels alone in their struggle and doesn't know who to turn to for support?
When you feel alone in your struggle, I always tell them, if you're a religious person, rely on your religion. If you're not religious, then you need to take time to yourself and write a letter to yourself. Talk to yourself, because you're going to listen to you. Your words matter to you. So if you can't verbalize to someone else, write it down on paper and read it and reflect and listen to how yourself feels in that point in time. And then think to yourself, what would you say to someone else if they were telling you all the things that you're writing to yourself? And tell them to yourself and listen to yourself and build yourself back up. And once you start having that self-reflection, that conversation with yourself and loving yourself and giving yourself that grace and that TLC that you need, I guarantee you it will help you come out of that area. It will help you it'll help you start seeing the light. It'll start to get easier. And if that isn't enough, start talking to your family. If you have children, go to your children. People underestimate their kids. Mm-hmm. They underestimate their kids. My kids are 11, 8, and 7. And like when I have hard times with myself, I'll go talk to my youngest. And she's the biggest ball of light ever. And she'll tell me things that I don't see. And kids have such this pure vision and this pure heart. They're going to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. And usually their truth is so sweet. Sometimes it makes you smile. It makes you kind of laugh, and it lifts you up. That's what I did. A lot of the times I would go to religion. If that didn't work, I would go and talk to myself and have those pep talks and write them down and read them to myself. And I would coach myself that way. Mm-hmm. And I always made sure I had a strong base to go to, which was always my children. And if you don't have those things, you've got to build that up. You don't need to you're never alone in the world. You have allies everywhere. You just have to look. When you start feeling alone, don't ever just think like, hey, I'm in this by myself. Step out of it. Step out of it really quick, because that's toxic. Once you get that mind frame, it just derails you, because you're never really alone. There's always someone somewhere who will listen. Even if it's a stranger, I guaranteed you.
Persons who struggle with comparison, they see that they're going through adversities, but they struggle with comparison. What would you tell them?
Struggling with comparisons? I struggle with comparisons still. It's one of those things that I'm working through too. And like I said earlier, I have to reiterate, you have to really give yourself that grace with comparisons, because you compare yourself to one person, and like I said, you don't know what that person did to get to where they are. You just know what you're doing, and not everything that works for one person will work for you. Mm-hmm. And I always tell my children, kids are the biggest with comparing themselves to another. I was like, and my son, my middle child, he's the worst. I always tell him, what God has for you is for you and no one else.
No one else.
So worry about what you got dealt to you. Worry about the cards that are in your deck. Don't worry about what's going on with everybody else. Because when you start to compare yourself, you lose sight of the gifts that are given to you.
True.
And that goes, I think that applies to everything, far as your body, far as your mind, your talents, your accomplishments, houses, cars. What's for you is for you. You're not going to get no more than you can't handle.
True. Very true. And even in terms of what people say, don't listen to the negativity that people have to say, because they're always the negative people.
Yes. If I listened to half the naysayers, I wouldn't be walking. I wouldn't be in sports. They told me I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff that I'm doing. and I didn't listen to none of it. I was like, I took the negative, and I said, I'm gonna make a liar out of you. That's exactly what I told the doctors. I said, I'm gonna make you eat those words. I'm gonna make a liar out of you. Just watch. And I did it one by one. I did it to all of them.
Nice perseverance. And filtering out negativity really does help us to navigate life and adversity and all. Erica, I want you to tell us where is it that we can find you. If people want to connect with you, they want to follow you, they want to follow your journey, where is it that we can find you?
I'm on Facebook. It's under Erica LaShawn Davis, or you can follow me on Instagram at just_Shay89, and the Shay is SHAEE.
Okay. Thank you so much, Erica. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing and opening up and being vulnerable, even about, the weaknesses, your weaknesses and your strengths. I'm hoping that people listen to you and pull from what you're saying. And because in order to make it in life, we have to stop making excuses and we have to persevere and push forward. Thank you so much again for sharing. Thank you for being here. And I want to even thank you to my listeners on the Unfiltered by Jade for being here, and we'll be here again next week, Tuesday. Thank you.